I love the sound of this bike. Yeah, go outside. Thank you. Oh, I have missed you, honey. What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the Uverse? Welcome back and thank you for stopping by my little corner of the Uverse. I was reflecting on the first 18 months of the MtnMoto channel and realized I'm coming up on 2-year anniversary with Duchess. And at the same time, I don't think I've done a proper introduction to you guys. Duchess here is a 2013 Ducati Diavel AMG edition. She's number 66. Coming up on a stop sign, we'll just stop here. Oh, cold tranny. There we go. So yeah, she's number 66, and I love her a lot. Oh. I figure after 2 years, it's time for me to let you guys know what I think about her. I was out shopping, just looking at bikes, picking up parts for Duchess, and you know, your eye always wanders, and it's one of the beautiful things about a motorcycle is Duchess doesn't get pissed off at me when my eye wanders and I see another bike that catches my eye, and she knows that she's beautiful too. But I was there with my brother Steve, and my brother Steve made a observation that Duchess is a plus-size supermodel. Hence the title. So this is my thoughts on 2 years of what it's like living with Kate Upton. Not saying she's a plus-size supermodel, but I think she's a more apt description of what Duchess is. In my opinion, this bike is a supermodel that's got the best curves on the planet. Hopefully the rain that's coming, looks like it's coming in over the mountains, holds off enough for me to get to a nice picture spot with her. But here's one of the things I love about this bike. Oh, the power. That torque. The ability to just slam on the throttle and split any gap you want. Now this has the 1098 Testastretta 11-degree engine. So in your Panigales you get the 41-degree motor, and if I remember correctly, I'm probably wrong here, go ahead, comment in the bottom how much of a retard I am. Sorry, that's not PC. Idiot. The 41 degrees refers to valve timing, and 11 degrees is what this one is. So it's got a different cam to it, has different timing, creates more low-end torque, doesn't have that phenomenal high-end and higher RPM limit redline that the Panigale motor does. But it's pretty much the same motor, just a little bit different internals. So you still get that beautiful Ducati sound. Get some speed so I can clear my visor. There we go. I think y'all know where I'm going. If you've been watching, you know where I'm going. So I love the motor. I love the handling of this bike. For as big as she is, this bike is amazingly balanced and feels extremely agile in the corners. Not quite a true Uber bike, but a super bike by any measure. Knew that light was going to do that to me. Had to get it a little bit. Let's hit those first trips in a while. There's a little trips. that's another thing that I absolutely fell in love with this bike from the get-go. First time I saw this bike, I loved the look of this bike. I thought, the Ducati Diavel, oh my god, I gotta have one. I don't know if I can ever get one, but that bike is the sexiest bike I think I've ever seen in my life. I don't even care how it rides, you know? First impressions are always your visual. And then I got to ride her. First time I sat on her, I thought she had a really wide front, like, you know, a big chest. But it just disappears when you get out there in the twisties or even the straight roads, and it just kind of blends. She cruises seamlessly. She corners effortlessly. And the first ride I was in love. I knew she was going to be mine, and I knew I had to go call the bank and get a loan. Because unlike Cycle Cruiser, no, I did not pay cash for her. I wish I could have, but I didn't. Now, back in 2013, one of the things that really set this bike apart was its electronics package. And that's another thing that I actually really like about the bike. For the most part, we'll get to that in a second. I love the electronics. I love being able to have it in touring mode, hit a button, switch to urban mode, press and hold. It'll tell me close the throttle, boom, close the throttle, now I'm in urban mode. I know now they've got bikes that you don't even have to do that. You don't have to close the throttle, you just change the mode and the engine mapping changes right away. But 5 years ago, this was state of the art. This was phenomenal technology. So what I like about it is it's got the 3 presets. I wish it had a rider preset, but having the 3 is really nice. And it tailors your throttle because it's a throttle by wire control system. So we've got a digital throttle, so it can easily just change the throttle map. It changes the tuning characteristics of the motor. So right now in urban mode, I've got 100 horse. Still feels like plenty. If I switch over to sport mode, I get the full beast. It's 162 horsepower, instant throttle response. Thank you, buddy. It also changes your traction control. So when you're in sport, your traction control is set to 1. Your ABS is also set to 1. I really got to work on my right-hand turns. I'm keeping my body, I'm crossing up. God, it's been too long since I rode this canyon, I forgot it. And there's a bit of gravel, so, and this is why I like it. I'm going to switch to touring mode. No. Close the throttle. Now I'm in touring mode. That steps up my traction control to 3, my ABS to 3. I've got 7 levels of traction control, and I think 5 or 8, I can't remember, levels of ABS intervention. So I can do that semi on the fly. It's not as slick as Aprilia's APRC electronics package that they're putting on the RSV 4 factory and the Tuono factory that I've been reading up about. That's an amazing package. Look at this gravel here. Oh, I can't wait till they get out here and clean this. I gotta remember that on the way down. But for 2013, there's a phenomenal capability. It's incredible what this bike can do. Other things I absolutely love about this bike, we already went over the exhaust, or the sound of it. I'm a big V-twin fan. Love the power. I love the torque. I love the sound of a good racing V-twin. Sorry, Harley. When I say V-twin, I mean real V-twins, ones that are meant for racing on bikes that handle. I love the balance of it. The handling and agility of a bike this big is just out of this world. Oh, one thing I haven't talked about. I really love the cockpit. I love the ergonomics. The general ergonomics of this bike is perfect for me. Again, I'm 6'3", I got a 34-inch inseam, and we won't want to talk about the waist. But, oh man, we're gonna have to step this down a little bit. We're getting all kinds of gravel up here, and I really don't want to lay my girl down. And I'm not super familiar with this road right now. But we're getting all kinds of gravel. So on long cruises, I find this an extremely comfortable cockpit to just kick back and cruise on. I can ride Duchess her entire tank, stop at a gas station, fill up, and ride in another tank, another entire tank, which is 140 miles when I'm on touring mode. So we're talking 280 miles. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that's 4 hours. 4 hours in the saddle with absolutely no problem. Which for most sport bikes, I know you Harley riders are saying, 4 hours, that's nothing, pussy. I do an iron butt and I ride 1,000 miles in a day. This is a sport bike, guys. And I appreciate the comfort that comes with those big long haul tours, man. That's exactly what those things are made for, and they are cush. But for a sport bike, it's unusual for an old man such as myself to be comfortable, truly comfortable, on a saddle for 4 hours plus. So I love that about her. I love the fact that I can get into the canyons, and with the mid controls, it's not a true rear set on this bike, but with the slightly rear mid controls, it's perfectly natural to flick your body side to side. The bars have a good placement on them. You're not too aggressive, so I'm not hurting my back. It's one of the reasons why I like naked bikes and the naked style, which is kind of what I consider Duchess to be. The Diavel is not really a power cruiser, which I know that's where they classify it. But if you really stack it up, I think this is more like a power naked. You know, you got the super nakeds, the Tuono factories, the FZ10 SPs. I love this road. I'm hoping the weather holds off because I just don't want to stop. But this is power naked, because while yeah, it's about the same horsepower numbers as those super nakeds, it's got so much more torque. I can't remember what the exact number is. I'll pop it up down below. There's lightning up there, so I've learned on this highway, on this road, that's a good sign just to turn around. We got nobody behind me. Let's make sure nobody's coming here, because I'm going to cross over into dirt. Yep, nobody's coming. And this looks like a good place just to take some pictures. You got good packed gravel? All right. She's good. Now, the keyless ignition, as you saw, I love that. When it works, it's phenomenal. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, look at this. She's like a perfect 36, 24, 34. I mean, that is just a curvaceous body right there. But anyway, let's take some shots. Alright, quick little photo shoot of my beautiful girl, introducing her to you guys. Take it nice and easy out here, coming off of the dirt. So now the most surprising thing that I have loved about this bike is its reliability. I know what you're saying. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, Mountain. Really? A Ducati, you love its reliability? But I tell you what, this bike has been dead reliable. Hi, horsies. All of its foibles, all of its faults have been self-imposed. I did it. And it's all just been part of that learning curve of living with a supermodel. Now, fortunately for me, my self-inflicted foibles and faults in this bike have not been of the expensive variety. So it's kind of unexpected. I was really expecting every single thing that I had to go get was going to be 5 times more expensive than what I could buy for a Honda. It hasn't been the case. The oil is more expensive than what you can usually just put in a Honda or a Kawasaki, especially in the Baby Z. But if you buy one of those super bikes, you're going to be using the top quality oil anyway, right? I mean, it's your baby. You're going to want to take care of it. So that's the only adaptation that I've had to make with Duchess, is that she takes the best, period. It's not like if my wallet's a little thin that month and I need an oil change, I can skimp and put some brand X in here. Nope. She gets Motul, and Motul only. Motul 300V, and it's about $73 an oil change just for the oil. My oil filter is about the same price as everywhere else because I always put K&Ns in everything I have. So, you know, 10 to 15 bucks depending on what price they're going for at that point in time. That's about the same as everywhere else for a K&N. I mean, you know, it might be a couple bucks here or there. What's a couple bucks between friends? Now, some of the screws and that kind of stuff that I've had to order for, because when I took her apart, I wasn't properly organized, and I lost some little screws. And the Ducati screws, oh my God, $2 a screw. You know, that's getting more into the line of what I was expecting, where I could go down to Ace Hardware for the Honda or a Kawasaki and get some, you know, 50-cent screws. I can't do that with Duchess. A, they don't fit. They're specialized screws. And B, she's worth it. So that's kind of the decision that I've made, is she's worth it. I'm gonna splurge. I'm gonna buy the right stuff. If I have to save up for a couple weeks, then I save up for a couple weeks. But for the most part, that hasn't been the case. The problem has been availability. Parts price hasn't been bad. I don't live in Italy, so shut up, Cena. Cancel. End. Play. Why are you doing this? Thank you. Alright, so while the part prices haven't really been that bad, and that's just because I haven't really broken anything super expensive, knock on wood, densest thing around here, parts availability has been questionable at best. And that's just because I don't live in Italy, dude. I mean, yeah, I don't expect to be able to go down and buy Ducati parts left, right, and center, even online, when a lot of the sites say that they have X part or Y part or Z part, or oh my God, look at all that gravel. Hi, dog! I find a lot of times they don't, and I get the lovely email saying, here's your order. Here's what we have in stock, and here's the things that we're going to be waiting for 5 to 7 days, depending on customs. And since we can't control that, we don't guarantee you delivery time. So pretty much anytime I've got to do anything on the bike, I just budget out a week and a half for the parts to even come in. I've been pleasantly surprised with Faye Myers. They've had extremely good availability and inventory on the parts that I need for the most part. And when I go down to them, like when I discover that I need something midweek, I go to Faye Myers because they're open all the way, you know, Tuesday through Saturday. But I'm an impulsive bastard, so when I find something on Saturday or Sunday, or on Sunday or Monday that I need and they're closed, I hop online And that's when I get the lovely email of the dreaded email of inavailability. Which, if I'd remember correctly, I just wait until Tuesday and go to Fay Myers, because Fay Myers, when they're out of stock, they've generally been able to get me those parts that week. This week I had a couple little things come in, and I ordered them on Saturday when I was in there looking around, and Steve made his comments about the plus size supermodel. Sorry honey, I know you don't like him. So I ordered the parts on Saturday. They called me yesterday. They called me on Wednesday. So that was really cool. You know, Fay Myers has been really good about that. That concludes the things I love about this bike. So on to the things that I have found disappointing about this bike. Right now I am using 100% of my front brake. Why? Because the Brembo rear brake setup that they chose for this bike sucks. It takes a special type of brake fluid. It has a very, very finicky bleeding process that if you don't follow to a T, your brakes don't work. If you follow the bleeding process to a T in 6 to 12 months, and who knows how long it'll take, your brakes won't work again, and guess what you get to do? That's right, you get to bleed your brakes all over again, because it was so much fun the first time. Yay! Thank you, Brembo. I don't blame, well, I kind of blame the Ducati engineers for choosing this Brembo setup. When they are properly bled, the brakes are phenomenal. The front brakes are phenomenal 365 days a year. They're awesome. This lever always works, does a phenomenal job, and is so easy to bleed and get everything dialed in perfectly. I love it. Rear brake, not so much. My gripe number 2 about Duchess is her electronics. I know. That was like number 3 or 4 of the things I love. I love the capability of the electronics package on this bike. I do not like the fact that it is Italian, which means it's finicky. If I hop on the bike and I ride up to the gas station just to fill up gas, so I'm going like 3 blocks, I've got to turn the bike off, open up the gas tank, pump in gas, 2 minutes. Go to turn the bike back on, 9 out of 10 times, she won't start. I have to push this little button down here, enter in my personal code, and then it starts up just fine. So it's something, I don't know what it is, and I haven't been able to find anything on the forums. If there's a Diavel rider out there that knows what the hell I need to fix to solve that problem, leave me a comment down below, please, because it's my number 1 frustration with this bike is my Italian girlfriend going Italian and getting pissed because I turned her off for a second. Third thing I don't like about this bike, I got all of this. This is supposed to be all fuel tank, right? This looks huge. This should be 20 gallons. It's a 4.5 gallon tank, and this is a high performance V-twin. So yeah, I'm going to gas stations a lot. If I ride around in sport mode, I get 105 miles before the light comes on, before my little fuel light comes on. And this bike is far too much fun to be stopping every 100 miles, especially in sport mode. I'm just in touring mode right now, and I'm still having a blast. All right, number 4 thing that I would kind of like to change on this bike. Oh, wind protection. For a bike this big that goes this fast and rides this long, that easily, it's astounding how little protection this bike provides. This is an aftermarket windscreen, Ducati Performance aftermarket windscreen. It doesn't come standard. And if it wasn't for my RAM mount and the protection it provides to the phone, and that's where my B camera is mounted, I would probably get rid of it because I have done test rides without it there, and it does pretty much nothing. And really, beyond that, I'd be nitpicking. I don't like the fact that when I bought this bike, there was 2 options for the rear tire. There are now 3. So you can buy the OEM Pirelli Corsa 2s. You can buy what is on here right now, which is the Pilot Power 3s, Bridgestone Pilot Power 3s, which I absolutely love with the dual compound technology. I haven't tested the longevity on these things. I've only got about 1,500 miles on this tire, but so far I absolutely love this tire. And then the third option is actually the same tire that we've got on Ragdoll Rocket's bike, which is also the Michelin, it's the Pilot Power RS1, I think. Fortunately, all 3 tires are phenomenal rubber to put on any bike, especially a high performance bike. So you know, they're great tires. They're expensive. I don't have any real shopability. You know, I don't get to hunt for prices and what's the best price, because not everybody carries these sizes either. Beyond that, I really have nothing negative to say that I can think of at this moment, as I'm falling in love with her again. About my Duchess. I absolutely adore this bike. Oh, one other thing that if I show you, you can see it. Let's see. My rear brake, see how it's bent back like that? That's because the handling capability, the cornering capability of this bike exceeds its peg placement. Yeah, that was done in a corner, people. So, and no, I didn't low side, I didn't slip, I didn't even realize I was going that low, or pushing this bike that hard. Apparently I could have stuck my knee out and easily drug me, but little did I know until the peg drug, and the pegs are made out of like a cast tin, and it just bent. So now I get to order a new rear brake lever, because that one's bent. Had the same issue with my shifter, and I've got an aftermarket shifter lever. I might do the same thing on the brake, just get the same lever, because I really like this lever. Just see if this company, I can't remember who it is, if they make a lever for the rear brake, I'll probably order that. But we're almost home. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen of the Uverse, you know I love each and every one of you. You guys be safe out there. Keep that shiny side up. Peace. What you doing, Subaru? Okay, you staying there? I pass you.